Some years ago, I remember reading an article in which you stated that recordings are a mixed blessing. They can be one of the worst things that can happen to a professional musician. Would you care to elaborate on that comment?
Did I also, in the same article, say I was always right? That's what I say. It's a mixed blessing, but the blessing part of it is the availability. For historical purposes, it's like a book. It's there, and we've got it. It's available to us. The part that's bad is that now I think we're overproducing. You know, there's too much of everything. I can't even really think that through, what that means, you know, because what I was talking about before, there was music all over the country, and there was variety because of the place. I don't think that the same thing exists now because of the existence of lots of records. In some ways, maybe the worst thing is the environment that's grown up around the records. The invention of the concept radio station, the top 40. They play nothing but the top 40. And the easy listening channel, and they play nothing but easy listening. The ones who are avant-garde jazz, they play nothing but avant-garde jazz. And down the line. You see, this is not the way to present music. This is very handy for the businessman because he's able to look at demographic charts and see, am I reaching my audience? How is my advertising revenue shaping up this week? But what you get is a steady diet of the same thing over and over and over and over again. I think we're brainwashing our children. We're conditioning them to an unreal world that they're going to have to look around one day and say, oops, is this all there is? Because if you could turn on a radio and it was playing a Count Basie record, followed by the Beatles, followed by some singer now, followed by my band, followed by a Beethoven string quartet. Variety. It's very good for us. That's, you know, given the fact that people are going to listen constantly to music. Music was never meant for that. We're not supposed to be passive receptacles with 24 hours a day input from elements outside ourselves. Because what you're doing is bypassing your own synapses. The thing is, we're supposed to use our own imagination. And what we're doing is using somebody else's imagination, and they're sitting down in New Orleans packaging these programs, sending them up to your town where they put in the local tapes to make it sound like it's, yeah, come on, that's a bad use of radio too. That's one of my other pet things. I don't know if I got into it in that article, but the fact that you can, you know, before, 10 years ago, when we had certain people in the White House that brought a lot of interesting friends that changed the rules about owning a radio station. It used to be, in order to get a license to open a radio station, it wasn't so easy. You had to convince the FCC that you were going to assume some responsibility in your community. And you couldn't just buy, now you got the license and you set up the station, you couldn't just go out and sell it. You got to run that station for a certain length of time before you're allowed to sell it. Then, when you sell it to somebody, they had to run it for the minimum like 3 years. They had to really run a radio station. Well, they changed the rules so that the radio stations became yet another marker on the stock market playboard. You can buy a radio station today and sell it tomorrow. Means you don't have any responsibility to anybody. As soon as they took the responsibility away, our days were numbered. Because that's when we got into this nonsense of the pre-packaged and pre-digested top 40 nonsense that's packaged in 2 or 3 towns and sent all over the country. We're getting the same diet everywhere. And I think that that's destructive. It's certainly harmful to music. And since so few of them are playing my records, I think it's terrible.